All right, welcome to the professors. We ain't crazy, we're licensed.
Yep, we're licensed.
We crazy as fuck. Like that's just
No lie.
period.
Coming to you from Level 9 Studios, Las Vegas, Nevada. I'm Dr. Mark Brana.
Say it with your chest then.
Dr. Mark Brana, I'm Casey Casillas Nichols.
Head bitch in charge.
Yeah.
Okay. Shamika Green.
Tesla Queen.
For sure.
Detroit Queen.
Oh, that's true too.
Yeah.
I'll add that.
All right. So, do you want to tell the story before we get in?
I low-key already forgot. Oh, no. I was saying when I was talking to clients and when shit's not going to work out and they're like, listen, how do I know it's going to work? I'm like, listen, I'm going to quote somebody for you. I'm fucked up. Homie, you fucked up. But if God got us, then we gonna be all right. and then they try.
Okay.
Sorry.
That's beautiful.
Thank you.
It's truly beautiful.
Thank you. Hashtag Hood Professor. Hood Professional.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hood Professional. So, this week we are going to be looking at life as a therapist. Obviously, all of us have our own experiences after we've graduated and gotten into the field. And, I think there's a lot of misconceptions about what it is like to actually be a therapist versus some of the things that I know I thought when I was going to school. So
You played yourself.
yeah,
I think we all did.
yeah, I probably. What do you think is the biggest misconception people have about being a therapist?
Oh shit.
You're a know-it-all.
Absolutely.
You know everything about everything, and you can look like a complete dipshit, and they won't care.
Right.
They'll be like, "You're a therapist."
And that you
better-
don't go through shit.
Right.
Facts.
Come on, you still human. You know
True.
what I mean? You still bleed the same way they do too. You still go through shit. And I think that for me is the biggest misconception of
Yeah.
like, oh yeah. And then when you in the middle of stuff that we just deep breathe easily
Yeah.
and then the shit's over. Like, no, not realistically.
Right.
Yeah.
I would say one of my favorite is the assumption that everybody has their life put together.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Oh. So on that note, and I'm not trying to sponsor anything. However, a bitch watched a new TV show on Apple Plus called Shrinking with my boyfriend Harrison Ford and Jason Segel. And Jason Segel's a therapist and he just fucking snaps. And it's everything I've ever wanted to fucking say or I have said to certain clients. And it is.
She said it more than once.
It is everything. Facts. Because I do have a lot of clients like that. But I suggest you two watch it. All of our therapists, counselor friends, everybody, everybody watch it because it is so accurate about a therapy. Because not to say whatever. It's only 2 episodes into the show right now. However, it's just he's a person.
Yeah.
He's a dad trying to get his shit together and he keeps fucking up. And then with his clients, he goes rogue. But then I feel some of the things he did wasn't unethical. So it's interesting. It's interesting.
Well, and I mean, you talk about going rogue, and I think that's like my entire modality of therapy half the time because when I'm working with clients, I talk to them not too differently than I talk to, well, pretty much everybody. And like I talk on here and, I'll drop some F-bombs during the session and they'll be like, we can swear in here? I'm like, fuck yeah, we can swear in here. But like it's surprising that more people aren't just authentically themselves as therapists, because I know some people even in our community that if you see them in a professional setting, they're one way, and then you see them outside of that and they're the complete opposite.
What?
Yo, this is the 4th time this week that I have spoken to somebody about being authentic this entire week.
Yeah.
About being a therapist, just a regular person. The 4th time. You're the 4th fucking time to say that. And I'm teaching that shit this week.
Yeah.
Oh.
So I will say this. There are some people out there that feel comfortable in the professional zone of being able to put up a little smoke screen, I like to call it. Just a little one, right? To seem like they're la la la. Me, fuck all that. You get what you get and you don't throw a fit. But I know.
So my youngest, her kindergarten teacher started telling her that, like at the beginning of the school year, and then my wife was getting upset, and she goes, "Mom, you get what you get, and you don't throw a fit."
Yeah, facts. It's like one of those things I got to say to my federal probation clients because they didn't unfortunately have a choice of who they got, so they got me, and they're like, "Fuck." I was like, "Who else are you gonna get? Who else is gonna let you come in here and do whatever?"
Right.
Yeah, but what were you gonna say? Because I saw your face.
Yeah, because no. Again, I think for me, there's many levels to who I am. And so I feel like I can meet the client where they are, but I am different with certain clients because I have that in me. But I love hood clients because I can go there. No, I'm not quoting Meek Mill to somebody who don't understand. Like there's other clients where I'm like, yeah, there's levels to this shit. And they love it, you know? Yeah. And that's where I'm like, I love this, you know? But I do think that I can rock on many levels and all of them make up who I am, you know? So, you know how I am on the block. I'm not necessarily like that with every client. Like,
you're not Shamika on the block with every client?
You know,
no.
I think
there's
about
Mika and Shamika, you know? It's different.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm only different with a certain population,
right.
and that's the geriatric one. I had a crisis client this week, and he
that's
said,
old people.
Yeah, sorry.
Old as fuck.
Yeah, and I was just taught, you know, de-escalating him, whatever, what have you. And I'm like, okay, I know who your therapist is going to be tomorrow. You're going to go to her. Casey, does she speak Spanish? And I'm like, you know what, so and so. She a white girl, but she gets down. And he started hysterically laughing. So I didn't necessarily be like me. I was still 100% me, but I was able to like present it in a way that I would my granny or my mother or, you know what I mean?
But on all levels, you guys are still authentically you.
Yeah.
Just in different things. And I think what I'm talking about where they're different people, would kind of go back to something that we had talked about in an earlier episode where they portray themselves as kind, caring, these things, but they are actually very ruthless and backstabbing.
Oh, fuck boys.
Oh, and here we go again.
And them. Those people. Oh, yeah. No, that's
cats.
different.
Them cats. So you got a question that goes with that, Mark?
Well, for me, like that was a misconception I had going into the field because when I finished my grad school and I was just starting out, you know, I had this idea. I'd come from the casino industry. I'd seen some shit in there, and you know, I think I had talked about this too. I just thought because we were doing something that's more. You know, people were more educated, you know, that we were going to help people. We're in the helping field, that people were going to be, you know, more professional. And then when it was a huge realization to see that was not the case.
It's almost like, this is a crazy analogy. This is almost like when I heard my granny cuss for the first time and I was clutching my
invisible
pearls. Yeah. I'm like, they're like that. And because it's like you're finding out Santa Claus isn't real. You know, like the bubble.
Fuck?
Yeah. Sorry. The bubble just bursts.
Kids, do not listen to this episode.
Yeah. But it does suck, especially if it's somebody that you is somebody that's like giving you guidance and all this, and then they're on some fuck shit. It's like, ooh, sheesh.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's just it too. You know, if it's somebody that is in a role of guiding or shaping your career, and it can be very detrimental to people. So
yeah,
I interrupted you.
Feels like when I told you guys I went to meet Tyson Becker for the first time. He was my crush, and then I met him. I was like,
never meet your
hell
heroes.
nah. Yeah,
damn,
like
for real.
Yeah, I was mad. Like, really? Fuck you. But going in the field, again, I think so many misconceptions because they didn't cater to people like me. So I felt like I had to go in one way. I couldn't share my story. There's no self-disclosure. You really can't say much. And then I remember my supervisor being like, No, it's okay. You should. Like people want to know you're real. But I was like, ain't none of this shit in the textbook. Like what they teach you, none of that is in the textbook. Like that's why for the longest I've been pushing for like, no, we need more of like what it looks like to service minority, what it looks like to be a minority therapist, because y'all don't teach that shit.
That
at all.
Co-signed like a motherfucker.
When I'm teaching in the master's program, I tell the students straight out, I'm like, this is what the book is going to tell you. This is what real life is going to tell you. And when you are working with clients from different populations or whatever else, the book is going to tell you all these wonderful buzzwords, be culturally sensitive,
culturally
and everything. But exactly, and they don't actually give you any idea of what that truly means.
No.
And most of the time, whether I'm working with my interns that I'm supervising or whatever, I'm like, you got to be yourself and you just got to ask questions and be genuinely interested in what the answer is.
Genuine.
Yeah.
That is the big question. Yeah. That's the thing that I was telling students this week too, of like, just be authentic. If you don't know, ask questions, be curious, but don't be fake.
Yep.
Again, because of being a minority, and Casey, I'm sure that you know that we've had clients come in, well, at least for me, that when they see that you're Black, then it goes different. You start talking different or you certain demeanor. And I was like, you ain't heard me talk to you like that. Like, what's up, girl? And I'm like, don't do that shit.
Yeah.
Like, don't. Just because you see that I'm Black and my name's Shamika, that don't mean that we chopping it up like that, know? And I didn't give you that,
Right.
But again, they don't teach you that stuff in school. And it's like, that textbook shit don't work for us.
No.
Doesn't work in general.
Facts. I think I like what you said, because when I worked at this halfway house here in Las Vegas, my Fed clients they get a color. And if they have to call a number a certain time, I can't remember if it's in the morning or at night. If their color's called, they have to go test. They have to go take a UA, right? So I come up and I always have to check in, get a key to go upstairs or whatever. The motherfucker asked me like, hey, what color are you? And I'm like, yo, I fucking work here. Like, the fuck? I was like, bitch, my color is opal. Because I knew opal was like people from Pahrump. And then they just stared at me. I was like, I'll be upstairs. Because I was like a vendor. I didn't work there, but I was there fucking 5 days a week. 5 days a fucking week. And what color are you? I'm like, give me the cup. Fuck this. I'll just take it anyways. But then when my clients see that shit, then they ask me, hey, Casey, how's that? I said, how do you think it fucking feels? I go, honestly, you guys think that I'm taking it as like my feelings are hurt because that would mean that I'm better than you. I said, no. I go, what is just ignorant is that I see this bitch every fucking day and I ask for the keys every fucking day. Are you asking them for the keys? And they just start laughing. I go, it's just the principle of shit. I go out of my way to be like, oh, hi, Shamika. Hi, to meet people. And then they just spit in your face. Yeah. Like it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
we on fire today.
Man.
So coming in hot.
Yeah. I got another little antidote for that. Well,
fire away.
So in life as a therapist, I'm going to say this real fast because I know somebody's going to ask this question.
We got time.
If I didn't say it now, but sometimes when I'm out in public, I tell people, when people ask me what I do, I lie.
All the time.
And I say that I'm a flight attendant for Southwest. So, story.
Where's the exit, bitch?
Yep. There you go. Right there. So I meet this guy that works for my company. Hi, I'm Casey, you're so-and-so. Yeah. Starts rapping with me about whatever the fuck. Cool. Got to know him. It's nice. We have a little company function. I see two of my coworkers. I go up to him. They're talking with old boy. And then he has the audacity to ask me, oh, do you work for the company?
Mm-hmm.
And the other two are just staring at me like, boy, she about to pop the fuck off. Because I met this dude, this cat, at least on 3 occasions. So I said, actually, no, my husband does. I go, my name is Casey and I work for Southwest. Oh my God, that's such an interesting job. It is. I go, I'm based out of Dallas. Or I don't think I got to tell him where I was based out of, but I just told him, I was in for the night. I got invited. I said, I just went as far as even saying I got to check out my bone density because I'd be taking flights all the time.
Wow.
I did the whole thing. I did all that. And my two coworkers are just dying. And they're like, are you gonna tell him like when you actually see him again? I was like, nah. and I see him every day, and I always wonder because I never checked him on it again.
No, that's the best part.
So yeah, so just for everybody, if you guys ever see me in the streets and I'm
Southwest
acting,
Casey.
I'm Southwest. No. The name is Avery. The name is Avery in the streets. Yeah.
Damn, Avery.
If you see her in the streets, snitches get stitches.
Yeah. I'm Avery and I work for
Damn,
Southwest.
Avery.
One of somebody that works for me came up with the name for that. So shout out to Rodney.
Yeah, no, I lie all the time. Like when people ask me what do I do, I do not tell them I'm a therapist at all. I will say I teach at the college, or I'll tell them I'm self-employed or something like that.
That leads it up to like so much other things that's so ambiguous. I love it.
Well, here's the thing is like you tell them anything else and they're like, oh, that's really cool. And they will move on to the next thing. You tell them I'm a therapist, like, oh my God, my mom, and they just go off on their family history. I'm like, fuck, I either got to bill you or I got to run.
Yeah,
I don't get paid for this shit. Bitch.
See, that's where I fuck up because I do tell people.
Ooh.
I do.
Oh, you need to come up with something.
Yeah, well, I already got it. I'm a rapper, so shit. Because it always
Shamimi dollars.
Okay, 8 Mile, come through 8 Mile.
I be ready. I be having my bars and shit. Bitch, here's my mixtape.
Shit. Let me get.
Listen to my
I'm
demo.
gonna be the Dr. Dre to you. Do the boards. I got you.
Right.
A bitch can
I
produce
can't
actually.
wait to freestyle. But I always fuck up. Players fuck up too. I just want to say that. But
We do.
I always fuck up on the
Sometimes.
airplane. And it never fails. And people are like, oh my God, what do you do?
You're
And
a
I'm like
captive audience.
trying to go to sleep. You know, you got your headphones on and all that. I'm like, well, yeah, I'm a therapist now. What? Like, huh? Like, yeah, when I was in a relationship. And I'm like, bitch, like, you see, I'm trying to go to sleep.
Yeah.
But that's why I got to say, like, I'm a rapper. And I'm going to do like this. And I'm going to be like, check my shit out. I'm on SoundCloud, bitch.
Are you wearing sunglasses in the plane?
I'll be like, yeah.
I know Bow Wow.
Right.
I'm so fucking
I'm
dead.
only in coach right now because my shit ain't took off.
Southwest.
Right.
Southwest
My girl
having us.
Avery hooked me up with a buddy pass.
Boom, I got you. Free flights. My +1.
Yeah.
Yo, I'm not mad.
Not mad. I can't wait.
So one of the misconceptions I know that I hear, and I've heard this from some people, is they assume our job is easy because we just sit and talk
That's
all day.
a big misconception. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
fire away.
I'm not trying to put nobody on blast, but I remember my husband. No, I'm just playing.
It's my wife.
In the beginning, didn't understand, like, why are you so, burnt out, or why is this going on? Like, oh, you just sit and talk to people or just listen. I'm like, do you know how much fucking, like, energy transfer that is? Like, you could go to Walmart and work or wherever, 9 to 5 and be done. Us, out within an hour, like some real shit could happen. And then you seeing people back to back that's depressed or whatever it is, like that's some real energy transfer. Like we can't do, you shouldn't 40, however many hours in a week. Like that shit ain't for the weak. You know, you gotta know how much you can handle, what you can take. And again, you seeing so many people and they're not coming to you initially happy, and that shit could be really taxing, you know?
Yeah.
They come in with some heavy shit.
That show taught me compassion fatigue. That's what they said.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
It's draining.
It
us.
is.
Yeah.
It is. And people don't really understand how emotionally draining because, it's that energy transfer. You sit with a client and they're telling you about how they, from the ages of 5 to 12, they were consistently like sexually abused, and all this. And then you've got that hour, you've got to close up. And then the next person comes in and goes, well, my dad was murdered. And then, it's like, it's like this onslaught, and then you got to go home and it's, you're drained and there, it's like, you got to be on.
Yeah.
Especially like for me, for example, like I have to start doing, I'm on call certain weeks and back up on call for like consultations for people that are going inpatient for suicidal stuff. And then I'm also on call for crisis calls. So when I get home, I'm like trying to relax. I get one of those calls or texts and I handle it. And then Ryan's like, you're still working. And sometimes it's like, I like get really mad. I'm like, how the fuck do you think I have this roof over my fucking head? How the fuck do you think, what do you think fucking pays for the food you're eating? What do you think? And then
Bam, Spoonie.
Yeah, exactly. And then some days it's just, he'll look at me and he'll say, can I get you something? Like, are you hungry?
Yeah.
Can I, and I think,
what can I do for you?
Yeah, seeing me work just has changed his perspective on like what real hustlers do. And it's just what it is.
Talk that talk, real hustling.
I mean, the real hustling, let me walk you through.
Break it down.
Real fast.
Break
my
that shit
week
down.
this week, as far as being a hustler.
Okay.
One, and I'm talking about hustling professionally and personally.
Right.
So
Talk
on
your
Monday,
shit.
I was able to have dinner with my baby girl, with my teenage daughter. She's going through some shit. I've been trying just to get her just by herself so I can let her just release. And I got to have that. Bet. Cool. Ryan had spine surgery this week.
Yep.
Right.
Okay. He's supposed to be in there for an hour. It took 4 hours. Nobody said shit to me. So a bitch just, right?
Yeah.
Everything goes negative. Like he's dead. You know what I mean? Like I'm
right.
like,
Instantly.
yeah. And then I have to go outside. And he was like in St. Rose. So I don't know anything about Henderson. So I'm just like sitting in the grass, crying, trying to
You're right down the
meditate.
street from me.
Really?
Right. You should have called me up.
I know, but
from
see,
us.
that's one of those things where I'm very bad about just keeping shit inside and just. But I did appreciate the text message.
At the very least, we could have gone and grabbed some like tacos and stuff.
I know, and then there's a
grabbed
Tommy
beer.
Burgers right there too.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah, it is.
Yep. So there's that. My dad and my sisters came through and talked with Ryan, and we had like me and my sister-in-law, and Ryan had this like, you can just feel like the spiritual thing. And like my mom was there. And then my dad came the next day to stay with Ryan. And then my dad just spilled his guts to Ryan about how he was as a dad. And then Ryan comes back and was like, fuck, I get you so much better now after I spoke to your pops of just who he is and then all that. Then come back. I have to go back to work the day after Ryan's thing is done. I check my emails for the classes. I'm like trying to get everybody situated. I have to deny my coverage for insurance. I'm trying to handle that. I'm like this close to like closing a deal, a really, really big business deal. And it'll be my first one for my other job. And if I do this, it would like catapult me to something that I never thought I would be able to do.
Gosh.
And so
Nice.
I'm right there. And when I
feel
tell
that.
my colleague, and when he tells me, holy shit, Case, like, good job. It's like, hell yeah. So driving home, Ryan's medication doesn't work. So I'm up all night long taking a crisis call. My husband doesn't have pain medication. So it feels like I'm dealing with a newborn
Yeah.
because he's up. And I'm
Absolutely.
going on zero, like no fumes. Friday comes. I have to go drive out to Boulder City for a site visit. And I'm just like, everything just comes together.
Yeah.
Everything just hits me like all at once, like, okay, it's good. And then Dolly Parton comes on and like 9 to 5 starts playing. And I'm like, so here's the thing. I grew up Dolly Parton as the actress, not the singer.
Okay.
Right.
Right.
So I just started thinking like, fuck, like you did this shit, bitch. You're like
10
able to
toes down.
take care of your husband,
Yep.
take care of your kids, do 2 jobs,
Yeah.
maybe 3 if you want to count the on-call shit. Closing up deals, being able to come here and do this shit with my squad. Like, I'm fucking killing this shit. And
You gotta
it's
talk that talk.
and it's fucking everything. Like, and then when I'm coming down here driving and then I hear just a certain song, I even like fucking went on to the class talking about, hey, we're talking about being authentic. I heard this shit for the 3rd time. Now it's going to be the 4th time. And I start telling them, man, if you guys ever doubt yourself, you got to play your favorite song and then just nobody's going to fuck with you. So I'm out there. So my go-to song is Anderson .Paak, Come Down, because a bitch wants to get down. And then a student came back, that's my favorite song. And then that made my day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know I'm talking fast, but I'm just trying to, I feel like I'm at the Oscars.
HBIC.
Thank you.
You're right. Bitch, you deserve your award right now.
But this is the thing too. But then I see you guys talking and then I feel bad because I don't text and I'm just like,
No, we know you're busy.
I know, but that's where the compassion fatigue comes in. And I'm like, but I know that you guys know that. And that's why I'm so grateful for that shit.
I think we just understand you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Of like, we know what it is.
Yeah.
And I always assume it's just kind of like you guys look at it the same way I do, because we have that group chat where we're checking up on all this stuff. Realizing that even if I put a message in there or something, it may not be responded to for a certain amount of time, because we're all busy. We all have, all these things going on. I've had students, ask, like, how do I do everything in a day? And I'm like, well, my day starts at 4 a.m., and I go straight through.
Yeah.
Cause I try to go to the gym and work out in the morning because I don't get any other chance. And so I go, I work out, usually done by about 6. Monday and Tuesday, I can usually get out to the office early to try and catch up on stuff because I'm, perpetually behind on tasks and everything. Start at my practice. If I was teaching in person, I'd be at school. Usually Monday and Wednesday from like 9 to.
But you're not doing that this time. Now he's online like me. And you're in person.
I'm in person.
Okay. So I'm online. So I'll go to my office. I'll start looking at like my undergraduate stuff or my graduate like classes that I'm teaching. Try to get responses in and like do stuff there to just kind of engage in class, catch up on work stuff, do all the billing, all the administrative stuff and everything.
Damn.
And hopefully by 10 o'clock, I'll see a client and
mad
start going
scientists.
through.
Fuck all that.
And that's the thing. It's like, and in the meantime, if like somebody doesn't show up or anything like that, that's usually when I'm checking things like for this, trying to get
like
ideas,
the podcast.
the podcast, trying to put wheels in motion for that and everything. And it's tough, life doing that is tough. And my week goes like that from Wednesday through Friday. My mornings start the same, except I take my kids to school. And then I do 1,000 miles an hour down the 215 to get to my office and catch up on shit, and then it's hectic, but I wouldn't change it. I love it.
No, shit, you good at what you do. But that's all the thing is talking about like the life of a therapist and hustling and all that too. I love the fact that I can multitask, but then also like it's just something in you, that really pushes you and you just do it. Like Casey was saying, of just like giving yourself the flowers of like, damn, bitch, you did it. I was up late last night writing my next book and I was up to like, a bitch be sleep early, but I was up like 1, 2, and my husband was like, what you doing? And he was like, I already know. Like he knows. Yeah. But when I'm in that zone, I'm like writing my ass
You've got
off.
to.
Yeah. But I feel like when you find your niche though, like I found my niche and I love it and I can do it. And when I'm in it, I'm like, let's go. Yeah. I'll write 2, 3 of these motherfuckers right now.
Damn. Get that. Writing money.
Yeah. Show me the money. Wait, I just watched Jerry Maguire for the first time.
For the first time?
No lie. I know I feel bad, but I wanted to tell you
That's
guys.
Okay.
Show me the money.
Yo, Cuba was everything in that fucking movie. He really was. Cuba is everything.
Yeah. He made that movie. So how does being a therapist impact your relationship with either your significant others or other people?
So back to saying the very first sentence I said on this podcast, they think we're fucking know-it-alls. I do not know everything, but I'm very glad that I have a significant other that doesn't say, don't use that psychology shit on me. I swear to God, if somebody said that shit to me, I'd smack the fucking taste out their mouth. No, you know what I would say?
Don't fall for it.
I would say, Dylan, put the powder in my hand. I know you know the rest of that shit. Tell him powder. Right. Tell him powder. So that's what I just do. If I have to do this to my husband, I don't think he knows this shit. He hasn't been that crazy to fucking try me, but all it takes
fuck
is...
around and find out, Spoon.
Right. Fuck around and find out.
And I always tell him, to like, a bitch just wants to try backhanding somebody just once.
Just one time.
And he's like, fuck. I'm talking all this shit. This poor dude's laid up bedridden. I ain't shit. The back brace on. I ain't shit. I love you, Spoonie.
Oh my God. Okay.
Okay, so
what was the question?
So how
does it impact your relationships?
Yeah. Oh, okay. Oh, wait. Fuck.
She wants to say something.
I know. Do you have to have the powder out?
Right.
She's like, how can
I think
say
my
this?
husband and I are at a good spot now. I think in the beginning, I think he did feel like, is this bitch showing therapy on me? Because I'm like, where the fuck that come from? Like, was that your daddy or your mama? Like, heal your inner child.
Yeah, boy.
Right fucking now because I can't,
Yeah.
like, but we've come to such a good spot that now he's just like evolving on his own because I feel like a lot of shit just done rubbed off on him. Like would he see me put in the work for myself and then what I do for others? But then
just what life has thrown at you guys also.
Yeah,
in general.
like a lot.
Yes.
Like we've been through a lot. And he knows me because he's seen me since I was like 14. So he knows like all the shit I went through and how much I've had to grow and evolve. But what pissed me off is times where he'll say some shit like a therapy word and I'm like, motherfucker, who taught you that?
I know you didn't pay for that grad school shit.
And he'll be like, okay, like, are you just internal? I'm like, oh, bitch. Like,
Casey, are you using your coping skills for your anger? Motherfucker.
So
give me the beer bottle.
When it happens, does it remind you of like the people that appear on like Judge Judy or something and try to sound like a lawyer? I object.
Yeah, right. Your Honor. Wait a minute. I'd be so pissed. Like he knows the trigger is when he tell me calm down. And I'd be like, oh, you got me fucked up right now. And then I go, and then I'd be like, you know what? Are you right? I'm just gonna breathe.
I feel like calm down is a universal trigger statement.
Yeah, just don't.
Just like that's the ultimate. You want to fuck around, find out, say that shit.
Right. Exactly. But yeah, it pissed me off, when he would, put it back on me. But now it helps too, because then he'd be like, do you just think you're tired because you have to do this for so long and since you were young? And I'm like, motherfucker.
That's right. That's Ryan. And it's like, oh shit, it actually worked. What about you?
Yeah, right.
My wife's pretty supportive. She, she's really.
You don't want to be on the couch tonight.
Yeah. You tried it. We out here.
My bed is very comfortable.
My baby.
No, she is though. She's very. I wouldn't be in private practice right now if it wasn't for her.
Okay.
When there are issues, I know she does get pissed and she's like, you think you know everything. I'm like,
see,
and it's,
wait,
I don't.
Wait, what's your zodiac sign?
Virgo.
I knew you was a Virgo.
All right.
I knew you was a motherfucking Virgo.
Continue.
Anyway.
No comment.
I'll save it for
zodiac
later.
signs are bullshit. But I mean, no, for the most part, she's supportive. And, I think where being a therapist affects relationships that I have, it's when like family or friends or whomever kind of want to run things by you that it's like, listen,
yeah,
you need to go talk to somebody because I can't be your person.
Right.
Because while, we're, if it's family, I care about you and everything, but I can't be objective. And I don't think people understand how objective we have to be doing what we do, because people just assume we tell people how to fix everything.
Yeah, and that's not the case.
Right.
If you're a good therapist, that's not the case.
Right.
I'll say that.
Right.
Well,
that's
the other thing I learned about this field.
I said what I said
Stand on
that one. I said what I said.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like we have to remain so objective and everything that, it's when it's family or friends, and sometimes it'd be like, I'd love to be able to help you. I can't.
You preaching right now because you do have those people, at least in my situation, where there was times where I'm like, you should really go see a therapist. Like it would be so helpful. And it's like, I don't need a therapist. And then you come back and be like, well, we're not doing that. We're not doing that. So what I learned is that I wait to respond to people now. Before I used to be so quick, like, and then now like, I might text you back a day later, depending on who it is and the situation. And I realized by that time, you got it all figured out, you know, because bitch, you asking me to fix it. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I mean, friend, you're asking me to fix it.
You said what you said.
There we go. You said what you said.
To fix it. But then you don't want to go see a professional. You know, like you need to go see a professional. Again, because we are therapists, but we're not everyone's therapist. You know, we're not getting paid for
For sure.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm I don't get that so much, and I don't know if that's a dig on me or what. However, no, real talk. But what I do get, and I got one this week, and it gives me a lot of pride, is that I'll have people reach out to me for like help or referral for people that are like locked up. And I got somebody hit me up, like somebody that's really close to me has a friend whose son is locked up, and I was able to pull everything up, and I'm like, oh shit, But and then the guy directly texted me on Friday, and then he was just really appreciative of like me giving him 30 minutes on Monday just to tell him like what my professional opinion is, and you know what I mean. And fuck, when it's stuff like that, like damn, that's my niche, and it's still like I still got it, but I don't get it too often, and maybe because I have my friend list is very minimal because I like to keep it that way, and most of them are in the helping field anyways.
Yeah,
that makes a difference.
Yeah,
and that does. If friends that are in the helping field get it.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah,
and so a lot of times, the questions typically come from people that aren't in the field.
Yeah, I get it from strangers.
Totally,
if anything, it's and that's why I do the Southwest thing on some real shit. I mean that's exactly why I don't tell people initially. I'll tell them any number of other things, versus telling them I'm a therapist, because it opens, it's like, oh, bet you couldn't fix me. It's like, I ain't even trying. Yeah.
Yeah, like a child.
We ain't doing that.
Yeah. I think I recently took a flight, ironically, on Southwest.
Was Avery on there?
Yeah. And I was sitting by myself, and a mother and a daughter came onto the plane. They were the last ones, and they would have to sit separate, and the daughter was really young, and the mom started freaking out, like, I'm not sitting without her. And like, I can empathize with that shit, because you don't fuck. And somebody, I didn't have anybody by me, like, or I did, and some guy was like, well, I'll trade and whatever. So the daughter sits next to me, and the mom sits on the other side, which I was surprised, because I probably would have put the kid on the aisle, and I would sit next to the adult, but whatever. So the little girl standing next to me, and I could see the mom is just fucking distressed. And I'm like, all right. The little girl's playing with her Nintendo Switch. A bitch has her Nintendo Switch on too, because I like to get down on Animal Crossing. So I pull it out. The little girl has the same game. She's like, oh my God. So I start playing with the little girl and let her come to my island. And her mom's looking at me, and I go, this is what I do with... I was able to say what I did without saying it, and then giving her the comfort of like, my kid's at home, even though like that won't mean shit. I said, I got this game. I got all my kids' Nintendo Switches this year just so I can play this with them. I go, but I get to play with her first because it wasn't Christmas yet.
Yeah.
So that was, you know what I mean? So I'll do like little tidbits of that, but not fully come out and say that. But you could tell the mom was like so relieved, and she was able to close her eyes for, like,
and relax.
Yeah, and like sleep a little bit. So that was cool.
Yeah.
No, that just was like, because I started thinking about like when we've maybe had to use like our therapist type skills in certain situations. So just to kind of hone in on that, what was it, yesterday? Had to be just like yesterday or day before yesterday. It wasn't long. But I was in Target, and I was sitting in the parking lot, and I seen this couple arguing. So it was a guy, of course, and the girl had the baby. And they were like going at it in a parking lot. And I was like, fuck, Shamika. I'm like, close your eyes, bitch. Like, don't see it. Because I do intervene sometimes, like in certain situations.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And then I was like, damn, okay, you by yourself, girl. Like, leave them the fuck alone. Like, and then they just was kept, and then she had the baby, and she was like hand in his face. And then he had like kicked the car. I was like, okay, this shit is it's escalating. Yeah. And so I seen people walking past, and they were like stopping, and they had their phones, and I'm like, they gonna call the fucking police. Like,
or CPS.
Or CPS. And I was like, fuck. And I was like, fuck it. So I got out. And I went up to him. I was like, look, like, I'm not trying to get in y'all business. I said, but I'm just trying to let you know that they gonna call the police on y'all ass. And I was like, girl, do you want them to take your baby? And I was like, bruh, do you want them to take you to jail? Like, this is what's gonna happen.
They'll take them both. I mean, for criminal justice side, they'll take them both.
See, and then I was like, what can I do to help y'all? And I was like, again, but it just, whatever it was about me being in that moment, was
Mhm.
able to calm them down. Because I said, look, I've been young. I know what the fuck it is. I said,
Mhm.
but don't do something you gonna regret. And it
Mhm.
felt like it was almost like an auntie, but I knew that it was more of like the therapist part too.
Yeah.
Right.
But they got it because they could have been like, bitch, fuck you. Like,
Yeah.
And it could have got worse.
Even,
But
escalated
I
even more.
swear when I walked away, because I was like, do you need anything? I said, but I'm telling you again, don't do some shit you gonna regret. And I
Mhm.
walked away, and then he walked away and she went in Target. And I just felt like, thank you, God. Because, I felt like I intervened to
Yeah.
help a situation that could have went definitely
Mhm.
left. Now, that don't mean I'm be out here, saving motherfuckers all the
Okay,
time.
cop to save a hoe. We
Right.
see you.
Right.
Yeah.
But that's the instinct. But it's when it's appropriate. It's when it presents itself, I
Right.
guess. And if you feel
You can
comfortable,
feel it.
like it, because if you felt like it wasn't going to be cool or like their temperature was going to be like, man, fuck you,
Yeah.
then
Mhm.
you wouldn't do that shit. But
Yeah.
Right.
that's cool.
Yeah.
Mark's like,
I
nah,
use
bet
my
you gotta
thi-
pay me.
Mark's
No,
like,
no, I was
I work in
thinking
accounting.
I make that doctor money, bitch. You're gonna see
I do
that
spreadsheets.
CPT code.
Right.
Yeah. No, I was just thinking that like this week I had to use some of the skills that I teach some of my clients when it comes to like just kind of with like anger management and stuff, because like after I dropped my kids off at school one day, I was going to go to work, and so dropped them off. I was on my way, and the road that their school's on, I was about to make a right-hand turn. And it's Vegas, so people drive like shit out here. Like I had a clear turn, so I started turning. All of a sudden, this motherfucker comes and like just cuts or like almost hits my truck.
It's always at the school.
And must have been doing like 80, 90 miles an hour down this road, right? Cuts over, almost hits my truck, and is flipping me off. And at first I'm like, fuck you, man. And then locks his brakes up. I'm like, oh, great. This is the road we're going down. And like just cussing me out, and then like pulls into the thing and I'm like,
what kind of car was it? I gotta know.
It was another pickup, like a smaller one and everything. And like, I'm like, this guy think I'm going to fucking pull in there with him.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things like when I'm working with anger management people, I'm like, you guys got to think this thing through. Cause if you get caught up in the moment, you go pulling in someplace like that, you don't know what's going to happen. That motherfucker doesn't know what's going to happen,
Right.
because that particular day I didn't have like anything in my truck, but like typically I'm carrying in this town, and I'm like,
You could have popped the trunk.
I'm like that. I'm like, that's the last thing I need is to be caught up in something like that, because it's all emotion and you're not thinking it through. And so the guy pulls into the parking lot. So I just kept going on my way. And then I see him coming out, and he's trying to follow me on the freeway. What? And shit. And I'm like, fuck.
See.
But like he couldn't get over in the lane, and then I just got on the freeway and went. And I'm like, some of the people that I've worked with, they would have followed that guy in, or when they saw him falling on the freeway, they're like, okay, well, we're doing this, you know? And it's like, you can't do that shit.
No, I'm laughing because I had this. Fuck. I'm thinking about where you live, and just last Friday, I was playing this dice game with my little friend group that are all old ladies. That's a whole other thing. We'll get into it, whatever. Anyways, my staff was having an issue at where we work at, and there was somebody hiding. The property owner doesn't have any lights in this courtyard, and somebody was hiding in like the back and wouldn't fucking leave. And of course, when we call the cops, Metro never comes. Right. They absolutely never come. So it's us on our own, right? Damn. So I'm gonna leave all that stuff out. Come the next day or Monday, I'm like, yo, why didn't you guys call me? And they're like, wait, why? I said, none of you guys could de-escalate this dude. I go, a bitch likes to de-escalate. A bitch likes to get into some shit on a Friday night. And they're like, are you being serious? I said, dead ass. I said, next time you call me and let me come over there and de-escalate or help out, getting somebody removed from the property, because I don't have to live like that anymore. But sometimes Hell, sometimes like
Look.
It is-
Hashtag hood professionals.
but they all like went back when I said call a bitch next time.
But I mean, that's the thing is like so many people get caught up in those things, and I teach my clients that, and then I'm like sitting there using it. I'm like, I got shit to do.
Yeah.
It ain't worth it.
Right. You have to.
I have no. I just get triggered all the time. It feels like all the time. You guys ever seen that movie Mystery Men?
Oh,
No,
yeah.
I never seen it.
Ben Stiller.
That's yeah. And it's hard because but when I get those anger management clients, I just sit there.
I
and I'm
love
like,
working with anger management.
me too, because I'm like, I'm trying the same boat with you, bro.
Well,
Like, let's talk about that shit.
But I mean,
And
that's one of the things I teach my clients, because other professionals, like, they'll tell you, man, you shouldn't be fucking angry. I'm like, it's a fucking emotion. You're going to feel it.
Yeah. And it's okay to
it's
feel
natural
it.
to be angry,
Yeah.
but
So
what you gonna do
tell
with
them
it?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Exactly.
it's what you do with it.
It's how you manifest it and where you go from there.
Yeah.
Like that movie Inside Out was so perfect.
Yeah.
Because
Because
anger didn't get his due. You know what I mean? And I
Right.
thought that
Lewis Black is awesome.
he is. He's the fucking man. But the fact that they were considered like they couldn't do shit. You know what I mean? Like sadness was, oh, nobody wants to be that.
Yeah.
But anger can manifest so many
Right.
dope things
Yeah.
for you. You know what I mean?
if
Yep.
done and processed in
It can-
in the right way.
Motivate you to get shit done.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Step out your comfort zone.
Did I tell you about the guy in the Prius at my kid's school?
Yeah, you
Yeah,
did.
you did.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's why I say always up
Yeah.
at the school.
So you know how like in the parents' head, like the dad was ran by anger and I think
Right.
the mom was ran by
Yeah, the
sadness.
dad was like all anger.
Yeah, I think mine would be ran by anger too, but she'd be like, anger and disgust would be the same too. But it makes it work. You know what I mean? It's whatever
Right.
you respond to, I guess.
Again,
But
done in the right way.
yeah.
So what's your favorite part about being a therapist?
Oh, man, I just was telling my class, because I got a Tuesday night class. I was like, I love being a therapist. Like we was doing like a mock role play and I was all in it. I was like, I love being a therapist because I get to do what I call like window watch. And I get to see people really heal.
Mm-hmm.
But then also people find someone that they feel like they could connect with
Mm-hmm.
and like all kind of shit just come out. Like they get inspired, or they heal or whatever it is. Like that is the best thing for me being a therapist is window watching. Like I get to see you heal.
Yeah.
And you get to come to somebody like me and you just be like, oh, my therapist, like it's so dope. Like she
Yeah.
helped me do this or do that. That's my pure fucking joy.
Mm-hmm.
Because, the money it's up and down.
It is what it is.
Real talk. It's up and down.
Mhm.
To be
down.
honest. Yeah. If real talk. But if I didn't have joy, I would not fucking do it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Period. Yeah.
Yeah. I think for me, my favorite part is very similar. It's when you have those people that came in and, they were hopeless, whatever was going on and everything, and working with them and seeing them on the other side of things where life is good,
Yes.
and sometimes that happens quickly. Sometimes it takes a little bit, but getting to that moment where, they've put things together, they're living life and they don't need you anymore.
Yeah.
It's pretty good. I would say mine is, since mine's not very similar to you all, like in a atmosphere kind of sense, I'm more in the streets.
Right.
Than
You be in the streets.
I do be in them streets. It's nice when a client is just going through it, and I get to walk in their environment, or I get to do something in their environment, and we break things down because it's just like play therapy. They don't realize that you're doing it until it's like done already. You know what I mean? And like to see somebody smile or laugh after they like been crying or they start crying on you, but like it's a cool feeling to see. And I know people are probably like, man, this bitch is fucking crazy. She likes to see people cry, but it's everything to me because
You're being
it's
open.
yeah. And there's some clients that just had so many fucked up
Right.
like medical issues that they didn't even know they were going to be able to make it to like the next day. And for me to say just some dumb shit and they laugh
Right.
is
Yeah.
like, that was, you know what I mean? That was it. And like if somebody was lonely, I don't have any friends, and they laughed and they haven't gotten to do that in fuck however long. it's pretty dope to see it because
Yeah.
it's just like a glow.
Yeah.
Yes.
The whole thing just changes them. And that shit's so, I love it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't change for
Laughter
the
is very powerful.
world. Mm-hmm.
It's underrated in our profession.
100%.
I use it a lot.
I do too.
Yeah.
Yeah. A bitch be laughing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
you
bitch
gotta
making
know
jokes.
when to,
Yeah.
you know, of course, you know, not like
Yeah,
in the
it's
middle
got-
of
it does
like,
have-
oh yeah.
It does have to be situationally appropriate. But
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, and it is. It's very underrated. You know, I use humor in pretty much everything I do. But in therapy, yeah, you can't underestimate the value that it has.
Nope. One of my staff have been dealing with this client that just always gets escalated every single time. And maybe 6 months ago, a year ago, I helped give him a haircut to go to a funeral for his mother. So he's getting crazy and he hasn't seen me in a year. And then he sees me and he's like, I'm like, I hear you talking shit to my staff, my guy. I said, oh, Miss Casey, I didn't know you were back there. You looking good, girl. I said, don't try to turn this shit on me now. Like, you know a bitch likes compliments, but not today. I said, I'm gonna dig in that ass because we don't talk like that here, sir.
Right.
And it's cool to have that because
Right.
everybody, all the staff is like, how the fuck can you get him
Yep.
to talk to you like that? And it's just when you're there for somebody for small shit and
Mhm.
then you
Yep.
just build that trust with them.
Yeah.
It just melts away when they see you.
Yeah.
You got it. You got it.
That's-
Though.
I mean,
As a
it is what it. Yeah.
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 All three of us as a therapist, you know, like something
Yeah.
inside of us is just like a magnet and that people are drawn to. Like, we got it.
Yeah.
And I think it's time to just own that.
Yeah.
I mean,
Mhm.
we are. I would say this group of three is like on some shit that
Yeah.
I'm really proud to say that I'm a part of because you
Yeah.
guys are phenomenal therapists, people, professors, what have you, friends.
Mhm.
Does she have a fever?
I think I do actually. I think I do.
Always at
No.
the end, the bitch gets deep.
But
I know.
you know, I agree. You know, you guys, like the three of us, we come from so many different backgrounds and everything. And you know, when I think of the community that we all work in and the very different sides of it, you know, I think personally, like we are the best at what we do in the areas that
Yep.
we work. And you know, it's a small community, and I hear you guys' names come up periodically and everything, and I'm like, I know that person.
Mhm.
Mhm.
You know,
That's
so,
why I was so excited to
Yeah.
tell
Yeah.
people I knew you. I
I know
Yeah.
it's hard
That's
not
my
to because it's
know.
like, yeah,
That motherfucker's my homie.
Right. And I'm like, yeah. He's Dr. Prana.
Oh, Dr. Prana.
I had to flip it.
Yeah.
yeah. No, and it's fun. It's awesome when I get it. Like people are talking and like, oh yeah, you know, like if it's a student, they're like, I had Professor Green or Professor Casillas because they didn't know you had got married.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you know, I'm like, it's cool. I'm like, yeah. They're like, oh, they were great. I'm like, yeah, I know. They're pretty cool.
Yeah. We be talking shit.
Just one last thing. I was showing one of my coworkers. Somebody had asked about something from the wedding, and I looked at the photo booth pictures of us that night, and I was like,
We was
man,
in that bitch.
yeah, I got it.
Somebody might have had a
We
little
was
too
rocking.
much.
We
I
was
saw
in
it in
that
my
bitch.
beard too.
Yeah, you did. It was just fun to see, and then it got me excited to come here, and I was like, hell yeah, I miss my friends.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's something special.
So, closing thoughts, last final words.
We got all this way and I hadn't even thought of that.
Bring your passion to whatever you do, whatever the fuck that is, you know, dancing, stripping, rapping. This is just me because I'm going there. If therapy don't cut me a check real soon, I'm gonna be down at Hustlers.
This
But-
just took a turn.
Not mad. Let me know what
Sorry,
stage you're
not
on,
sorry.
homegirl.
Oh, look at the backstage.
Cinnamon.
Backstage.
Yeah. Coming on
Cinnamon.
stage too. Put your hands together for cinnamon. And then
Cinnamon
I'm ready to go
swirl.
there.
cinnamon spice.
Yeah, so if I don't get my
I'm about to
fucking money real soon.
I'm about to change her contact in my phone now. to
Cinnamon
Yo,
spice.
Cinnamon spice. What about you, Mark?
I just think life as a therapist it can be difficult, but it's rewarding, and
So much.
I only wish you could buy a house with the good feelings you get from working with clients.
Hell yeah.
Because it sure as shit don't pay that well.
Sure don't. You can't go to Southwest Gas on this love.
No.
How about you, Avery?
I was right on time.
Yep, because that's exactly what I was going to say. Don't be afraid. Like, if that's your passion and you have that fatigue, put that boundary up. I'm like, I don't give a fuck if people think I'm a liar because I work for Southwest. Bitch trying to get sponsored.
Southwest-ish.
Southwest Airlines, you could sponsor us.
Yes, those buddy passes.
Here's the thing too. I always say Southwest because they're the ones that wear like the cargo shorts. I feel like I could pull that shit off because nobody would buy me with the top. You know what I mean?
I can see it.
Yeah. Anyways, I'm on some dumb shit today, but I agree with you. Is follow your passion. I agree with you with all the stuff that you said. Just do it the way you want to. Set the boundaries so you don't burn yourself, because if you love it, you'll want to do it for everybody, but you have to remember to refill your own cup.
Oh, that's so good. Drop the fucking mic.
Got that shit.
Damn, Avery.
Catch us on Buzzsprout. Catch us on Apple, Spotify. The Professors, We Ain't Crazy, We're Licensed. Catch us on YouTube. Subscribe, like, comment.
Send topics.
Topics, feedback, questions, the Professors Podcast at yahoo.com.
Yes.
Somebody come get my homegirl her fucking check, and don't mess with her money, and don't mess with the D.
Period.
Bye.
Bam.